welcome. My name is Michael Mastro. This is Vastu Creations. Ring the bell, join if you would like. Today we're going to look at the chart for Kim Kardashian, who's a socialite, media personality, brander of beauty products, reality TV star, model, many things, and she's very successful, wealthy. So if you look to the eastern horizon when she was born, you would see the sign of the constellation associated with Scorpio rising at 20 degrees. So any planets like Rahu and Ketu that are actually nodes of the moon, eclipse points, um, would have a lot of impact in this chart. So let's look and see how the planets are operating. We look to see where Parashas gave us this beautiful knowledge that we can really get to the heart of the chart if we look to see where the Multikona signs fall. Multikona means the sign that's most closely associated with a planet. So you have some planets ruling two signs, like Venus rules Libra and Taurus. And Venus is all about relationships, so it's more closely connected to Libra, which is about relationships, and Taurus is more about wealth and fame. So the Multikona signs are 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. So we have the sign of Aries ruled by Mars in the 6th house. So this person is working on conflict in relationships, possible health and healing, and things like that. And then we have the 4th sign of Cancer ruled by Moon in the house of good fortune, belief systems, father. So working on issues around father. And then we have the 5th sign of Leo ruled by Sun in the career house, very focused on career, being successful. Then we have the 6th sign of Virgo ruled by Mercury in the house of income. So really working on connections, friendships, causes, as well as income. Then we have the 7th sign of Libra ruled by Venus in the 12th house, very focused on, doing some charity work, helping others, feeling a little bit separate, things like that. Then we have the 9th sign of Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter in the 2nd house, working on stability in the marriage, working on fame and wealth. Then we have the 11th sign of Aquarius ruled by Saturn in the career house. So, in the house of happiness through family. So family is very important. So let's see how these planets are operating individually, and then we'll see how they operate during her life, during the different planetary periods, during the dasha periods. So Sun is ruling, again, that career house placed in the 12th house. Because it's placed in a Gustana or a challenging house, it becomes weak. It is slightly less than 5 degrees, so slightly in infant state as well. So Sun, in this case, brings big focus on career through possibly helping other people. And it's in this house ruled by Venus, so there can be, career connected to beauty. You got Venus in that career house, so something to do with beauty and charm and being a sex symbol, modeling, etc., acting. And then we have Moon. It's just slightly weak in infant state, less than 5 degrees. So it is ruling the house of father and good fortune and government and belief systems, and placed in the house of creativity, entertainment. So it connects, father and mother. So we got the Kardashian series, reality series. So it connects, that mother and children and everything, with being able to entertain other people, creativity. Um, didn't get a good support from her father, and her father actually, I forgot to mention, that died when she was very young. So there's that. And led a very privileged life, very self-absorbed. So that, and then we have Mars. Mars is ruling the sixth house. So any planets that rule the sixth, eighth, or the 12th, they, if they're multicona planets, then they can cause some affliction in the chart if they're within 5 degrees uh, through conjunction or aspect. Not so much of that here. They're fairly benign, but Mars is placed in the first house. So it brings a lot of passion to her personality, a lot of courage, a lot of fire, um, that, and then makes her very ambitious and charismatic. And then we have Mercury ruling the house of income, placed in that 12th house. So it gives income through communication. And Mercury being in the 12th house can cause some issues with the skin. She has psoriasis. And then this is also the house of sex. So she became very famous through the leaking of some sex tapes with a boyfriend. Let's see here. She's very powerful. Mars makes her very powerful. Let's see. Jupiter is conjunct Saturn in the house of income. Jupiter's ruling the house of wealth and fame and stability in the marriage. Jupiter represents children and husband. So there can be some weakness in the marriage. She was married 3 times, and some issues with the husband, issues with the children. She has 5 children. Um, but it connects the income again to Jupiter. She's wants to be a lawyer, to carry on her. She was very connected to her father, and he was a very famous lawyer, wealthy lawyer. So she's, studying law, and that connection to Saturn is helping the masses. So she wants to be a lawyer to help with social justice, prison reform, etc., things like that. And let's see, Venus again connects beauty, modeling, acting with her career, being in that first of that house. And there can be, it's ruling the 12th house, so there can be some losses, expenses. Actually, when you look at actors, they need to separate themselves from themselves to act these different roles. So there's probably some of that going on. There may be 2 parts of her, or, the part where she's at home and loving to just sit in front of the TV and be with her family, and then that part that really wants to entertain and perform through, her acting and modeling. Then we have weak Saturn. Saturn is, so these 2 planets can't be any stronger than their dispositor, their landlord, and Mercury is weak because it's in the 12th house. So Saturn is also slightly weak and gives happiness through family, but there can be some weakness there. So the 3 marriages, so some conflict with her brothers and sisters. You got the older siblings in the 11th house and the younger siblings in the 3rd house. So some conflicts there. And they're all involved in that, keeping up with the Kardashians, the reality TV show. And let's see here. These are, money houses, the house of wealth, ruled by Jupiter in the 11th house. So there's a connection there for Dana Yoga. And then we have Rahu and Ketu. So they're at the bottom line balancing the spiritual and the material. Rahu is giving ambition for good fortune, and Ketu is giving insights into business success. and there can be some ups and downs. They are also, because they're close to, slightly close to the most effective point, maybe 20%, they are afflicting the houses they're in, and then the house of that they aspect or afflict. You got income slightly afflicted. You got the first house slightly afflicted. You got third house of business slightly afflicted. The fifth house of children slightly afflicted, and definitely relationships. So that's affecting her marriage. So those are the main things. Let's look at the timing of events. Then we have Saturn. She was born in a Saturn period. I think this gives her dharma to help other people and be a strong, want to find happiness through the family. Saturn is service. Then her father died in September of '03. Actually, so it's just a few days away from that. But if we look there, it's a Mercury-Venus period. And Mercury is in the house of endings. And see, there was a Venus and Sun are conjunct. So Venus rules this house of endings, and it's conjunct Sun, which is father. So the death of the father very easily explained through the transit chart. Here you have Venus almost right on top of Sun. Natal Venus afflicting transit Sun and Mercury. So then we have in 2007, that's when the sex tapes got leaked, and they gave her wider notoriety, and that's kind of when the reality TV show started, and it went all the way, I think, to 2017 or something like that. So it was a very popular show. And that's during a Mercury-Mars period. Mars, this kind of conflict and leaking of the tapes kind of could be connected to that. Mercury is in the house of sex, like that, and giving income through being a sex symbol, basically. And then we have her daughter was born in a Saturn period, increasing the family. Saturn ruling family, and then she got married during a Saturn period as well. And she also, she was robbed in a Paris apartment. There are some people that say that was staged just for publicity, but it was definitely during a Mars period. Mars is theft. Mars affliction. Mars was afflicted at that time, or Mars was afflicting for wealth, Jupiter. Okay, then we have she met with Trump in March of 2020 to free a lady prisoner. To be an advocate for prison reform, which she had some influence on during a K2 Saturn period. Saturn again helping others. She got COVID in November of 2020. Also, I think that was also a period that had something to do with Mars. So Mars is again affecting her health. Some affliction there. And then we have in 2021, she got a divorce from Kanye West, and that was during a K2 Mercury period. Mercury in the house of endings. K2, causing detachment from the relationship. And Rahu, K2 was in the 7th house in that transit chart. It was in the house of marriage, causing separation from the marriage. So those are the main, events in her life. If we were looking to do the remedies for the chart, we would want to either wear the gemstones to strengthen the weak planets, or we could wear a kavash that we have on the website, vastucreations.com. It's a silver locket from Bali that contains the Devata yantras for the planets we want to strengthen all in one shot, and as well as 5G material to protect you from 5G. And then if you want to transform Rahu, Ketu, Venus, and Mars, we don't want to strengthen the malefics. We would be helping women for Venus, helping men that are like brothers for Mars, helping people who cannot help themselves for Rahu, and um, helping spiritual organizations. All of what is what she's doing, and that's helping to balance the chart. So thank you so much for listening. Join me next week for another personality. If you're interested in getting a reading, you can see they're very accurate. You can go to vastucreations.com under services, or if you want to learn transformational Vedic astrology, you can go to American Institute of Vastu.com under courses, and you can even get certified if you take level 1 and level 2. Thank you again so much for listening.